Hello and welcome to Oh the Horror. I'm Fedora, and welcome back to the Full Moonathon. Quick disclaimer first, I'm sorry this video is a little later than usual. I've been battling a bad case of the flu. Well, I say it's the flu, it's actually syphilis of the lungs. But enough about my personal problems, let's talk about vampires again, because that always goes over so well every time I do it. And to help me out is my fellow horror movie reviewing critic, Brian Gatto of Horror Show Movie Reviews.
Happy to be here, Fedora. I'm ready to sink my teeth into some sweet and juicy vampire action, as long as they stay in place, if you know what I mean.
So let's get started with 1991's Subspecies.
So this movie starts with the late great Phantasm star Angus Scrimm having eaten a hole in his pillow and deciding to wear it on his head.
Somewhere, Gary Oldman's Dracula is looking at that wig and biting the back of his hand in jealousy.
Actually, Angus in this movie is playing an ancient vampire king, enjoying some blood from his enchanted butt plug. Until his son Radu, doing his best Maxwell Shrek impression, arrives rather uninvited and demands his father hand over the so-called Bloodstone to him.
Bloodstone would give you too much power. This can never be.
Oh shit, it's happening. Run for your lives!
Luckily for the tall man, I think Bill and Ted might have arrived a bit earlier and had this cage installed right above where Radu was just standing.
Radu has the perfect escape plan though, pulling his fingers off and turning them into stop-motion devil monsters.
Damn, it appears I've run out.
Well, I'm good.
Angus apparently finds them a little bit icky, so they free Radu, and he drives a not wooden stake through his father's heart. But it's okay, I mean he'll send through another copy of himself in a few minutes anyway. Now let's meet our lovely leading ladies for this movie, who have a great taste in headwear I might add. Mara, Michelle, and Lily, all meeting up in Transylvania, for archaeological work.
Oh wow, it's a parade. It's not a parade, dummy, it's a funeral.
It's okay, I'm always getting those two mixed up as well. Grandma's funeral was really awkward, me showing up in my booty shorts and gay pride t-shirt.
It turns out death is no stranger to this town, though, and we arrive at the historic sites the ladies will be staying at while they're in the country. But nobody here seems very happy to see them.
Presumably because Transylvanian people have grown accustomed to this shit by now. What's that? 3 beautiful Western women have arrived? Oh, great. I'll get the townspeople to start scrubbing their necks. They get a tour of the location, seeing such sights as the secret chamber where the villagers from centuries ago hid from the Turkish soldiers of Dominic Cooper, and a room full of coffins, probably full of aliens. Fuck that movie.
That night, Radu, who seems to be the only person in town with electricity, wakes up after the girls try to break into his castle. Lucky for them, they give up and leave before he can reach them.
Aww, he just wanted to watch the new season of American Horror Story with them. Okay, we're 20 minutes into this movie now, and I'm just wondering one thing. Why are we watching this when we could be watching a Hammer Dracula movie? I mean, it's all the same stuff. Creepy castles, European setting, bats, coffins, organ music. The only difference is that the vampire is being played by that arsehole captain from Critters 4, who can turn his body parts into Clash of the Titans monsters.
The girls are confused that none of their research into the town is turning up any information on the castle, as if it's purposely written out of local history.
How can something as old and imposing as that castle not be part of the local lore?
Maybe when something has been here as long as that castle, it becomes invisible to all but the most sensitive eyes.
This guy seems to have the same idea about Segway entrances as Ken Shamrock from Scarecrow Gone Wild.
I'll say something about the castle soon, and then I can come out and look all cool.
This Christian Bale, David Boreanaz looking motherfucker is Stefan, a zoologist studying the local nocturnal wildlife. Too bad for him, all he keeps finding is idiots dressed up as clowns.
The next day, the girls go out for some interviews with the townspeople, and we get some history on Radu's Bloodstone. Apparently, it contains the blood of all the holiest saints of the time, including the great Saint Douglas.
Happy are they who come to my supper.
But later that night, Radu's LEDs wake him up again, and he goes out in search for the girls, who are taking the shortcut home through the woods.
I think by this point in cinematic history, the idea of the shortcut home through the woods should just be considered a suicide.
Because you know Radu has the hots for one of these lovely ladies. Though, are his fingers compensating for something? These are questions I need answers to.
Alright girls, let's keep an eye open for those 8 pages.
Radu appears and scares the girls, I think, and they run into Stefan.
And then they sort of just forget that they saw a real-life vampire, and instead just get lost in Captain Not That Attractive's eyes, and then head home to bed. But plot twist! Turns out the creepy guy who only goes out at night is also a vampire. In fact, he's Radu's little brother.
Your pain, little brother, makes me feel sick. Our father was a fool. So are you.
I'm sure that's just vampire Big Brother talk for, "Oh, come here, you little scamp."
Hey, I have a question. Why does Radu look like a Nosferatu cosplayer who didn't have the balls to shave his head, when his dad and brother look more or less normal?
Shut up! I have an excuse for that. Gotta go.
Maybe it's a Wizard of Oz deal, where only the bad vampires are ugly. Maybe one of the sequels to this movie is going to show how James Franco broke his heart as well.
Radu sneaks into their bedroom later that night and starts sucking out Lillian's arm. But is chased away by his brother after giving his best face.
A doctor is called in to declare her legally dead, tired, and the old man from earlier, who knows about Stefan being a good vampire, is preparing to defend them from Radu's return. You got your basic stuff like stakes, Abe Lincoln's axe, and a shotgun that shoots wooden bullets. Because that makes perfect sense.
But Stefan is finding it hard to keep his head in the game, and he keeps fantasizing about all the times him and Michelle sort of just stared at each other.
When I look at her, when I look into her eyes, there is this light.
We have such a strong connection. Like that time I said hello. And the other time I said hello.
Okay, time for a funeral. A parade. Isn't this thing to celebrate the day the vampires killed all the Turkish invaders and saved the village? So what the hell are these masks supposed to represent? Are Gonzo the Great and Doc Brown vampires?
And then there's this strange custom where they use a horse to jump over graves. And if it doesn't jump, that means there's a vampire in the grave. Or Ryan Reynolds, I forget which.
Stefan joins the girls at the party, and damn, his third hello must have been really impressive, because him and Michelle are now suddenly sucking face.
Must leave now.
And they said becoming a vampire would cure my premature ejaculation. Michelle decides, well, if she's not going to score tonight, she might as well just go home and get some sleep. Leaving Mara behind to be eaten in front of the entire village, and then Radu even manages to beat her back to the place and starts eating Lillian as well.
Never underestimates the efficiency of the Transylvanian bus service. After chasing him away again, the guy's kind of a pussy, isn't he? Stefan explains everything to Michelle. It seems he and Radu are only half-brothers. Stefan's mother was a human, while Radu's mother was an evil sorceress.
Now all I can see in my head is Angus Scrimm in bed with Angelica Houston in her Grand High Witch makeup.
The next morning, because Michelle thinks taking vampire prevention measures are too barbaric,
You're stupid.
her and the old man head to the old castle graveyard to bury Lillian. Wow, that sure isn't gonna backfire. Hang on, I'll just turn around for 1 second and... Oh shit, look at that.
After that, they hold up in a local church while Stefan goes looking for Mara, who is actually being held captive by Radu, presumably so the audience can have at least one boob shot.
But Radu's finger puppets throw a net on him, and the vampire Lillian drags Michelle to the castle as well. Well, at least I still have my conscience. So with both her friends now vampires, I guess Michelle can pretty much assume book club is cancelled this week.
With all hope seemingly lost, and Michelle on the verge of being turned, the old man suddenly bursts in with his holy shotgun with rosary beads for bullets, and starts shooting shit.
And then it's time for a climactic sword fight. And it has all the tension of the fight from the first Pirates of the Caribbean, because neither of them can actually be killed that way. Regardless though, Stefan is the victor.
You can't destroy me, Stefan. Nothing can.
I told you, dumbass, we still have 4 more movies in this franchise.
Unfortunately, Radu's minions escape with the Bloodstone. Where could they possibly... Oh, they just put it back in its proper place.
You're fired. So, with the stone in their possession, Michelle decides that losing her friends, who she hasn't seen in ages, has pretty much destroyed her entire life. And she tells Stefan just to turn her into a vampire as well. Yeah, because, fuck family and that career you were working towards, which was the entire purpose of you being here. Let's spend eternity with a guy with all the emotion of an Easter Island head.
She's gonna regret that when she finds out how many bad habits he's got. Like drinking blood out of the carton and rolling over onto her side of the coffin.
And so this movie comes to an end with Radu's severed head coming to life, winking at the camera, and then getting chainsawed in half by Bruce Campbell.
And that was Subspecies.
This is a fairly generic vampire story with pretty much all the tropes people expect. It does have a few extra full moon touches which, while I make fun of, I do appreciate. Touches like the little stop-motion demons that are obviously there because Puppet Master was still popular, and they wanted to carry that style on. Acting-wise, it's not so admirable, especially the leads. Also, I didn't get the purpose of the Bloodstone. They said it made it so vamps didn't need to feed on humans, but Radu still did, yet he still wanted the stone, so... I don't know.
But all in all, I love this movie. The second and third and fourth and even Vampire Journals are also really good too. It's a solid franchise overall, and I think this is a great starting point. But I'd have to give it at least a 3.5 out of 5.
And I'm impressed I actually made it through this entire review without making even one Twilight reference. Did I do the right thing, Brian?
Only time will tell, my friend. Only time will tell. Adios.
And that's all from me for tonight, so I'm Fedora, this is Oh the Horror, save a screen for me, and we'll see you next time.
I'm a creature who's up to no good.